I don't think. Oh my, this art. Oh my god.
Oh wait, I have to click on this art now.
Why is this on the wiki? I commented. Making sure we okay. Recording started. So,
Right.
and maybe I can. Maybe if I act like I'm gonna start recording, it'll like get it out of the way. Okay. And I'm really about to podcast, Google. So, okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Pot of the Seven Kingdoms, a journey through the Dunk and Egg novellas. I am Baki Balboa.
I am Belok, and we have a friend, our first friend.
A very special guest.
Our very special guest, Felly.
Hello, I'm Felly.
We wanted to spend some time just talking about theories. And when you
Yeah.
talked about the others, I was this close. I literally almost had it typed out of like just the others stuff, right? Of,
Yeah.
of like all of that, like it's quite clear that there's like culture and language and like forging this armor, these weapons that are like otherworldly,
Yeah.
and like describe, sort of like, so what's going on that, like, because it's obviously not just they're zombies, right? Like there's something way more. They laugh at Waymar Royce, like what the fuck, like
They're all like laughing, like damn, bro.
they get humor, right? Like they like they have like a sense of
They're like,
humor.
what a fucking loser.
Yeah. Oh shit, he's gonna fight back. This is gonna be crazy.
Wait, Phil, are you saying you don't think that they're led by a man who has a crown growing out of his head?
No. What's the
Ice Darth Maul?
Yes.
It's so crazy because
steal everything.
The way they're described in the books that like they're actually like the actual elves of like the world. The way they describe like other world. I think they're called like Sith of like the Irish mythology of elves type of thing. The Children of the Forest also fit this description. But it feels like I could see it being something like where maybe they were like pushed to the other side of the wall and like they're like, well, I don't want to just stay here. Like the rest of the land is also ours. Like I want to come back. Like, why do you guys get to have this wall? But they can't go past. I don't know why. I don't understand that. They confuse me. But I do think like there's more to them than just like there's not like only the whites are zombies. The others are like an actual different species. Like
they're like a whole they're George's original, like his one really original concept in all of it, like fantasy wise. All the other things are like fantasy tropes, giants, dragons, that kind of stuff. But the others are like his own actual creation.
Even the Children of the Forest are like nymphs type. Like there's like other stuff, whereas the others are truly sort of like unique in how they like in their conception.
But they also remind me of like it's so much like romantasy nowadays. Fairies are just like hot guys with like elf ears and like that's it. But like actually like fairies and like elves, like I think fairies mostly like they're seen as like mischievous and like tricksters and like you can't really trust them. And I feel like that could be something that the others do. Like when they're laughing at like Waymar Royce, they're like, oh, they think it's like a fun game. Like they can help you, be nice, but they can also like not want to help you and like kind of laugh at you when you die.
And then kill you. Like kill you very dead.
That's why I can segue into my theory about okay, so I feel like I go back and forth with this. I could probably change my mind because I have like a million theories in my head, but I feel like because George is not the type of writer to be like, and this is just the great evil. Like he's not making orcs from like Lord of the Rings where they're just like they're just like, I mean they do have families, like they do go into that, but like they're not like just like evil because they're evil and they're ugly and that's it.
Right.
But I feel like we need, or I would like a perspective where we could see what the others are about. And I made a theory about how like Jon is like, in my mind, like the next Night's King, but he's not evil. Because every time I say that, people are like, Jon is going to turn, you think he's going to be evil? No, I just think that he has a lot of parallels to the Night's King to the point where I'm like, people were bringing up Stannis and I'm like, what are we talking about? Jon is like to a T, like the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, the same one as him. The fact that they're like, oh, nobody knew what he was. Like they said he was a Stark. They said he was an Umber. They said he was this. Like also maybe he was like a bastard because snow kind of encapsulates all like the North. But then they said in the end, like in the story that Bran hears from Old Nan, he's like, oh no, he was a Stark. And then he was like, he had to battle against his Stark brother who was the king. And I'm like, there's too many parallels. Also like when what's the name of the lady that the Corpse Queen? Is that what she's called?
Lady Stoneheart?
No,
No.
The corpse
the
queen. I think the corpse queen is like what she's referred to.
like the White Walker, not the other lady, like the
The
other
other who
lady.
like
Oh,
marries the Night King.
the sexy White Walker that he fucks. That one.
Yeah, that one.
That-
The
Which
way
there is an insane picture on the wiki for the Night's King, like on the wiki of Ice and Fire or whatever. There is an insane fan art on there that I'm like, I don't know how this is on here.
Isn't she like?
What is it?
She's like cheeked up, like on the like, and he has like his hand on her ass. It's crazy. I like. It's so. Hold on, I'm gonna send it because it's genuinely nuts. Like.
This should
But
be
like
the
when they
the cover art.
describe like how he gets with the corpse queen lady, they literally just describe how the wildlings court women. Like they're like, oh, he saw her, he captured her, and he caught her. Like how the wildlings do.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then with like, it makes me think of like Val, because obviously Val isn't like a white, but like the idea like her eyes are always like seen as like very, very blue, and like she wears white. It's not like, I feel like with these stories, like he's not doing a one-to-one recreating all these little stories, but it's just like a reference, like foreshadowing, like look at this is similar to this, maybe keep this in the back of your mind. So I feel like it would be cool if Jon like could be our perspective into seeing what the others are like, because he is kind of going to be like an undead person in a way. I just don't know how he's gonna get resurrected, because I don't think, oh my, this art, oh my god.
Oh wait, I have
Why
to
is
click on
this
this
on
art
the wiki?
now.
Why is this on the wiki? I commented on this on a live probably like a year and a half ago, and me and Eric, like Eric not Arik, as you probably know,
Yeah.
we talked about this, and I'm just shocked that it still exists. This went up in 2013 into this wiki, and it has
I love
stood
it.
the test of time.
So our
bare butt
listeners,
cheeks on the wall.
so our listeners can know it is a painting of a man, very very much grabbing the cheeked up ass of what is basically a snowman in the shape of a woman, more or less, like just snow. And he said, "This is great," and that
I'd include the art in the episode, but there's no way YouTube would be cool with that. So
no, but drop a link in the
they'd be like, "What the
show
fuck?" We just get our whole shit deleted.
Yeah,
Cancel.
cancel.
That's not even like my main theory.
So
did you want to talk about that theory? You want to talk about, because you had something else in the notes that was interesting too.
Yeah, it's my like, well, Euron to me is like the great other. Like to me, he is the big bad. Because I'm writing this theory. First, I wrote the theory about how like Daenerys versus young Griff, and how I don't think that like they're ever actually gonna meet, and like he's gonna die well before he meets her. But my mind can also change with that. Like if the Dance of Dragons happens with the two of them, I'm like, I'm not opposed. I also have a theory in my mind about that. But with Euron, I was thinking when I was writing my Euron versus Daenerys theory, which is not out yet because I'm really good at procrastinating.
We're getting a sneak peek. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's like, well, I was thinking about like when I was comparing young Griff to Euron in terms of adversaries for Daenerys, really what came down to it was like, who would I be more terrified for Daenerys to fight, and like who would I be actually worried that something like bad is really gonna happen? And I was like, probably Euron, because he's actually scary, and young Griff is kind of like just a knockoff version of Daenerys and Jon. Like, no offense to him, I feel really bad for him. He's kind of like doomed, like to die.
Well, yeah, but he's Fagon, so
yeah, like you're kind of, he's kind of cooked.
Anybody who is working with Jon Connington should know that it's about to go bad, because Jon Connington has fumbled every single bag he's ever held on to. So like,
poor Jon Connington.
And he's probably gonna doom a lot of people in the process, because I am
absolutely
convinced that he's gonna give King's Landing Grayscale. But that's
yeah. But wait, you just take Grayscale off. You just peel it off.
Don't even start with that. Like,
sorry, I'm not trying to distract
hundreds of years of people having Grayscale, and no Maester like maybe
millennia
take it off, like by peeling it off. Oh my god.
Sam, an acolyte at the Citadel, is like, I read in a book that we could cut the skin off, and they're all like, holy shit.
I read that wiki, just take it off.
And
guys,
then
it's FX makeup. It comes off. It peels.
And then he uses that power to save the worst human in the world.
But also, like, it doesn't even matter because Jorah dies anyway. Like, why not just have him have Greyscale and then fight and then die in a battle?
Right.
Like, which is
that's a lot of forethought. Anyway.
Okay, so I was looking up stuff about Euron and all that stuff, and I was reading about how, well, he's very much like has a lot of like Lovecraftian influence. And I was thinking about Cthulhu, and I was looking at Cthulhu and like the how it's the race that Cthulhu is from is called like the Great Old Ones, and I was like, oh, that reminds me of the Great Others. So let me look up the Great Others, and then it was all the like the synonyms or like the other epithets he has is like the Great Other, Lord of Darkness, Soul of Ice, God of Night and Terror. And then there was like a quote on the wiki from Davos and Melisandre, and Davos says, "Feel how cold the wind is. The guards will huddle close to those torches. A little warmth, a little light. They're a comfort on a night like this. Yet that will blind them, so they will not see us pass. The God of Darkness protects us now, my lady, even you." Melisandre says, "Speak not that name, sir, lest you draw his black eye upon us." And I was like, wait, there's only one person who has like one black eye.
I like that.
Oh, I like that.
And it was like, and like his black eye shining with malice. I'm like, because I feel like George is not like, grammar matters in stories. There's a reason why he said like his black eye and not like his black eyes or his dark eyes, or like he's very intentional with words. Also, Euron is so like, I love George, but he's kind of obvious. Euron is just Sauron, kind of like his name is basically the same. The whole you have like the one eye that like is creepy as shit, like filled with malice. Kind of
everywhere somehow, like
like this is sort of like his Lord of the Rings. It's not a one-to-one, obviously, but like and then when Daenerys has that dream where like Euron is kindly invading her dream, and he's like, but his lips were bruised, and when he thrust himself inside her, his manhood was as cold as ice. And I'm like, well, hold on, the only thing associated with ice is the others. And I'm like, this is a lot. And then I have a whole thing where like I think he's gonna summon like this Cthulhu type monster, because I looked up Cthulhu, and then like Cthulhu is like part human, part squid, part dragon. And he's like, and he's green, and I'm like, this is why I think it's gonna be Rhaegal that's gonna be taken. Like I think the dragon horn is gonna work, but then also there's a horn in House Celtigar's house which summons krakens that Theodore Sand talks to Davos about, and I'm like, why would you bring that up? Because it says like, look, and a magic horn to summon krakens from the deep. Very useful such a horn would be to pull down Tyroshi and other vexing creatures. And I'm like, krakens definitely exist. And then to add on to that about krakens existing is that in like a small council chapter with Tywin in it, they're like giving information about what's going on in other parts of the world, and they're talking about like, oh, there's krakens in the sea, and like, and that the dragons are there, and like obviously they dismissed the dragons because they're like, dragons aren't real, but we know dragons are real. But I think because we don't see krakens, we also dismiss the krakens part as like, well, they don't exist because that's just fake. But like, they probably do exist. They're probably there. I just feel like Euron is too much of like an adversary for him not to be like really important. And like, no offense to young Griff, he's not that guy. Like he like when in my young Griff Dany thing, I was like, as I was writing, and I'm like, he's literally a knockoff of Daenerys in like every way, like a foil, like a really like a true foil. I mean, also like in the Slayer of Lies prophecy, every single person there is a foil to her. So Stannis, Euron, and young Griff. But the whole thing of like he was kind of in exile, not exile, but like he grew up in Essos the same way Daenerys did. He has an exiled Westerosi knight with him the same way Daenerys does, first with Jorah Mormont, then with Barristan Selmy. He has a foreign army with him, the Golden Company. Daenerys has the Dothraki, and then eventually like other stuff. But like, what else did I say? I have my essay here. I should probably look at it.
Well, on the Euron point, on the Euron point, I'm so all over the place on Euron.
Yeah.
Because I love me the Greyjoys. I love a pirate. I'm like, as soon as they're like, they ride boats, I'm like, I'm here for it. Excellent. Love it. I could like, it's just one of those things where I just have no idea where it's going to go. Like I could get on board with like, he's going to be like this really big existential threat. Like that works thematically. It also works thematically if he's just like a dud. And this is all like a farce. Like this is all a farce. You know? I
too think that sometimes. I'm like, when Roderick Harlaw is like, no, I think like Euron is like, oh, I got all this stuff in Valyria, and Roderick Harlaw is like, did you?
Yeah. And then Euron runs away. He leaves the room. Yeah. No, I mean, it's stuff like that where I'm like trying to piece it together, and but it is a world that does have magic in it.
Yeah.
So I also believe there are krakens. I mean, it's a fantasy universe. There's giants, there's dragons. Krakens would fit in that lexicon. Phil, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, like, one of the theories that, especially in this last reread, that I just really like latched onto is because I'm like, Victarion, like, what, like, he's got Dragonbinder, this horn. The one guy we saw blow the horn dies, right? Like, he has blisters on his lips, and his tattoo is bleeding, like, and like charred. He's like on fire basically. And now we have Victarion, who specifically has a smoking like volcano hand, right? And I'm thinking, like, now I also do, I think after this last reread, I am of the opinion that I think Makoro like fire whited Victarion. Like, I think he might be dead.
Interesting. Okay.
Or he at least used some kind of like R'hllor magic to like maybe not bring him back to life, but to keep him alive. And that's why he's got this like smoking hand or whatever. But he talks about, like, he has this whole thing with Makoro about no mortal man shall sound me and live. That's like, that's what it says on the side. And I'm thinking, like, Victarion is now like prepped to, like, he can hold the horn and maybe like endure the heat because he's got this crazy like volcano hand where he's not going to get burned by Dragonbinder, and he can blow it basically without like suffering the consequences in the way that he would have. And I think, like, it's very possible that he, like, on that same token, I think it's very possible that he blows it and dies. Like, and it's all in service of Euron. Like, it's all in service of Euron. Where it's like, if he is the existential threat, and this is some kind of like, he summons, you know, the fucking all dragon Cthulhu or whatever, like squid dragon and all that stuff. Like, I do think there is something there that it's like, it could just be it all in service of Euron, or Euron's got a plan for like taking control of the dragon once like Victarion shows back up or whatever. But but I was just, I like, on this last read, all of Victarion stuff, just like him and Makoro just like constantly talking about this fucking horn. I'm like, okay, there's some reason that they keep talking about it, and he's got now this accessory hand where he could potentially be seen like maybe enduring fire or whatever. But
also, one last thing on like the Euron Dany stuff. Part of the reason why I think that like he is going to be like one of the big bads, I know it's like iffy to trust people's visions and stuff, but like, isn't it Euron who has a vision where he sees him on the Iron Throne, like with a bunch of tentacles, like he looks like a monster, and like there's a woman with pale flame with him? I think that's Melora Hightower, because I think she's a fucking wizard in a tower, basically.
Okay.
I feel like
I think that's a win, and I do think that's a win sample chapter. I think that's Euron's win sample chapter when he gets forced to like drink Shade of the Evening and has this crazy vision of Euron. But that is like he does see him on the Iron Throne.
I think it's a possibility that like, I also think there's a very strong possibility that like Euron, like when he like summons, because I think he would be the type of person to summon some giant creature or whatever. But like, it's a very common thing in stories where like, if you summon like a creature and you're like one of those people who's like wants power so much, when you summon it, the first thing the creature does is like kill the person who summons it, or like takes it over. And I feel like that's like a total possibility that creature will just like take over and be like, oh, I have my vessel that I've always needed this whole time. Thanks. We don't need you anymore.
That I could definitely see that. I think that would be that. I don't know, because it's like I think like pacing wise, like if there was also a giant creature like in or around the Iron Islands, like how does it factor into like, okay, well then how do we kill the giant creature? Do we have to like take a detour with the dragons to like do it?
Well,
or like,
I think it'll be summoned.
Hightower mech.
Well, I think it's like the Hightower mech is going to stand up. It's
it's Pacific Rim, like
the iron, the what is it called? The iron thing from Bravos just like starts walking.
Giant, the Colossus Giant. I forget what it's called. Bravos. Yeah, they are. Every major town has like a big building. Just get up and like join the fight.
Casterly Rock stands up and starts walking. All the weirwood trees just get up and start fighting.
Yeah, they all have arms and legs now.
The Ents are going to war.
The Ents, yeah, literally.
Yeah, that's it. That's what's gonna happen.
But I think that Euron will be in King's Landing when he like summons that Cthulhu.
Oh, you think okay, that would make sense, yeah.
I think he's going because like isn't he like in Old Town right now, or like he's in like the Reach?
Like near. He's like he was at like the Shield Isles, and now they're like sort of at the mouth of that. Because I think the next thing that's gonna happen is they're gonna fight the Red Wine Fleet because they are sailing like the Red Wine Fleet sailed from King's Landing to like intercept.
Yeah.
Euron. So that'll be. I know there's a lot of people who think like the amount of people that die in that battle is gonna like fuel whatever kind of fucked up blood magic Euron's working on or whatever. Like, and that could serve as his like drowned god sacrifice or whatever of like enough people died there, and now that's how you get a Kraken or whatever. Yeah, there's all kinds of theories about it.
I mean, you could just probably attract a Kraken if you have that much blood in the water. Just like if it's just an animal.
What do Krakens like to eat?
People.
Maybe they like dragons.
Yeah.
I totally can see one of Daenerys' dragon getting like taken, like the tentacles taken like a dragon out of the sky. Or like the dragon is flying low enough, the Kraken just grabs it and it's like
ooh.
I could see one of Daenerys' dragons like forgetting about the Iron Fleet and getting one shot with a scorpion through the
getting 360 no scopes with a scorpion through the eye. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen to Rhaegal. Okay, it's very important.
Right, obviously.
Yeah, no, I love that happened, and George is like, by the way, it's a 1 in a million chance to kill a dragon with a scorpion, and they're just like, actually, no, it's not 1 in a million. Also, and they completely ignore that in the books, like the dragon scales are hard as shit. Like you can't like pierce it like that. You have to hit it through the eye.
But they get soft when they forget about the Iron Fleet. The scales get soft. That's what happened.
What happened was Daenerys forgot her glasses at home. That's why she couldn't see directly below her.
Yes.
It was too far. She's just like me. She's like nearsighted. She's like, I can't see that. And the dragons too, they need glasses.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. Boom. Another plot hole paved over with concrete. Yeah. Phil, do you want to talk about your theory next, or do you want me to rant about dragons?
I was like, I just like the whole like discussion around Euron and just like the Greyjoys in general, because I think they often get inexplicably, to me, there are people who read like Feast and Dance and are like, the weakest part of this is the Greyjoys, and I'm like, are you fucking reading the chapters? Like,
honestly,
because there are people who say Victarion is boring, and I'm like, listen, Victarion is a straight up psychopath. He is not boring. Like, you can call him a lot of things, but you cannot call him boring. Yeah. Like, shit.
I don't think he's stupid. I will defend him, and I don't think he's stupid.
Oh, I do think he's stupid.
I think he's like, well,
he's fun to read, but I think he's a little stupid.
There is one scene in which Victarion is like straight up like is like slow on the uptake of
he's stuff.
What? Oh, well, that. But
I didn't. In his defense, like, I too, if I didn't know anything, I would be like, oh, it's like an actual sea. Right. I wouldn't think that it's like land, but also he should be more well traveled because he's like a pirate.
I was gonna say he spent too much time on the islands, I guess. My thing with Victarion, the one scene where I was like, you gotta be quicker than that, like around Euron especially, is in the Shield Isles. Like, they just took over. They're like partying in the hall, like whichever of the castles they seized. I can't remember the name of it, like whichever, South Haven or whatever. Like, but they're on the Shield Isles. They're all celebrating. Euron's acting like whatever pirate king, and Victarion is thinking like, well, Euron like thinks that he's so popular now, but like, I'm the one who has the loyalty of all these captains because I've been sailing with them for so fucking long. And then Euron, like, literally in that moment is like, so-and-so, 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 and so-and-so, you're now the lords of the Shield Isles. And it's like, and it's literally like all the 4 people that he was thinking are like his most loyal people. And it's like, dude, Euron knew exactly what you were thinking and just granted those dudes lands that they never would have gotten. You lost them. Like, Euron's got him now. You are working for him. Like, there's no
Yeah.
There's no getting around it. You can't be. So I think like politically, Victorian is just, he just doesn't get it. He is a blunt instrument, but I think he's like, I think the thing about him is that there is literally nothing that he will not do in pursuit of whatever his like objective is. He like, where, you know, he's got a red priest in his ear talking about you need to make more sacrifices to R'hllor, and he's like, well, I need to make sacrifices to the drowned god. So he gets a boat full of slaves and lights it on fire.
But also the seven.
Also
so
seven.
Seven sacrifices on the boat. He lights on fire and then they drown. He covered all three religions. It's perfect.
Honestly, he's very multi like cultural. He's like, I'm respecting each and every religion. Everybody gets a piece. I'm not discriminating. I'm very open-minded.
Like, no, it is so. But I just always, I always love when people give it shine, because that storyline is clearly very important to George, right? And that's the thing that I just don't get when people are like, I don't get why we're like wasting time with the Ironborn.
We're not like, you think he's just like writing filler? Like they matter.
Yeah, that's what George R. Martin does. He writes filler, exactly.
Yeah,
that's why he's taking so long to write Winds, because he's just making a bunch of filler. Like, no,
definitely. I think
so,
broadly, the Ironborn theater is also very important to understand in conjunction with the Dornish theater, because of Asha and Aryan, and the comparison between women in both of the societies, etc. Themes, yada yada. That's a whole other discussion. But I do think that's one of the important aspects. Is you need to have both.
Shout out to Balon for being the first ever girl dad of Iron Islands. There's what does he say? Where he's like, I pray that Theon dies so that he does not get in Asha's way. The wokest dad in Westeros, from like the least woke part of Westeros.
Ned Stark.
Like, Ned Stark could
never.
Ned Stark could never.
He's like thinking like Arya's gonna grow out of her phase, and it's like, no, Asha's gonna run the Iron Islands. Theon needs to die. He's fucking around. I don't like him. Which is like, he saw Theon come over and he was like, did you buy that chain or steal it? You bought it? What a fucking pussy. Get out of here.
Get out of my house. You got that.
You bought that? You didn't from people? You're not robbing people?
You got that Stark stank on you right now. Like, I could smell you walking in.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love Theon so much. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad things happen to Theon. But Balon, first girl dad of Westeros.
Exactly.
Well, maybe
it's insane to me. Yeah, but he's kind of like, it took him a minute. He kind of like sucked. He didn't really like prep her. He's like half girl dad.
Yeah, he's like half girl dad.
Yeah, because he has another daughter, and he's like, whatever, fuck Helena, I guess. Even though that's not true. In the books, he talks to Helena's kids and stuff.
That is true. He does, yeah.
And then the last thing I'll say, we talked a lot about adaptation and everything, and obviously, like, the Euron shit is just like crazy of what happened in. It's not even really worth talking about.
No.
But I think like rereading the books, and in particular, just like the Godliest Man speech, all this stuff. I think one of the things that I was thinking about is a lot of the readings of that, and obviously like I took like maybe a little different approach. A lot of the readings of Euron are like, he needs to be like a creepy pirate and sound kind of like this.
Extremely charismatic.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He's pretty cosmopolitan, right? Like I'm not saying that he whatever is like you know, because he's a psychopath also. Yeah. Like he's a straight up murderer, like genocidal maniac. But to me, I always love a villain who is voiced in like sort of a soft-spoken way, or like a relatively soft-spoken way, because we get like, oh, okay, big guy with an axe, whatever, sounds fucking like, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. He's just Kratos.
He's tough, but he's got big muscles. Yeah.
Sure, I get why that's like that way. And like with Euron, to me, it's way creepier if he's like a little bit like chill about the whole thing, about like how he's just not rough around the edges at all. Like he's so charismatic, could walk into the King's Moot and win over the entire Iron Islands in 1 fucking minute, right? Like that's the scary shit. Like not a dude who like seems like he could beat me up or
because he's like a sociopath, but like he has this like, it's not even a mask, because like that he's a terrible person, and like other people know it too, but like their culture is like they like love it, like he steals and has slaves and rapes. That's awesome for us.
Right.
But also like he is supposed to be handsome. He is supposed to be charismatic and charming to an extent.
Right.
Like it's supposed to like help. It would be lame if he was just like, I don't know, like very stereotypically like just the part like, "Arg, I'm evil and I."
Oh,
that's what I was gonna say about Euron. Like this had a theory that like Euron is the three-eyed crow and not Bloodraven. And that Bran is getting visions from both of them at the same time, and he can't differentiate them.
Oh yes, I've read this before. Yes,
because when Bran meets Bloodraven for the first time, he's like, "Are you the three-eyed crow?" And he's like, "A crow once." And he's talking about how when he was like in the Night's Watch, but like he doesn't refer to himself as that. Like he seems very confused that he's being called a three-eyed crow, and it's very weird. Like he's never like. I don't know, the way it's phrased is like, you would think he'd be like, yeah, I'm the three-eyed crow. But he was like, he just says, I was a crow. And it's like, why wouldn't you just call yourself that? And like the way I think in one of Bran's like dreams or visions, like the crow is like being an asshole to him in the way that like Euron is an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think like, I guess I don't know if this is popular or not, but I feel like I don't think Bloodraven is like evil. Like, I don't think he's like an evil mastermind. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because like I really love Bloodraven. But like to me, he's always been like, he is an evil advisor, but he's always been an evil advisor to like good kings. But also like the idea that he would take over Bran to control Westeros, I'm like, he's had like ample opportunity to be king of Westeros. He literally had like a whole like surveillance state. Like in the Great Council, in the Great Council, when he's like, when it's like versus like Egg is brought up, he could have pressed his claim, like he existed at the time, like, and he was legitimized, but he doesn't. And then he just goes to the wall when Aegon is like, go to the wall, and he's like, okay, which is more than what Bitter still did. He fucking left.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do think, because there is that element, like I have joked that I'm like the real bad guy of the story is Bloodraven, like plot twist or but I think to your point, it's a really circuitous way to like be the big bad, right? Like if he actually is the villain, there's a lot easier ways to like, if you have those powers, there's a lot easier ways to be the villain than to sort of try to manipulate events like in your favor or whatever.
Also like the thing that I almost forgot this, the reason why I don't think he's like bad, because I think George said one of the inspirations for Bran becoming king is that he like the Once in the Future King, which is about like King Arthur and like all that other stuff. And I really don't know shit about like King Arthur. All I know is like King Arthur, Merlin, and the Round Table. So when I'm reading the book, and as I'm reading it, it's in the beginning, it's Arthur when he's a kid and he first meets Merlin. And it is very much like, when I was reading, I'm like, this is literally like Bran and Bloodraven. Like Bloodraven is literally Merlin for Bran. And like the way he's talking about like time travel and how he's from a different time. And I'm like, the way Bran, it's just like, it's very similar where you're like, oh, I see the connection here. Like he's essentially like teaching him all this stuff. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. Oh my God, it's right in front of me. The idea of like, he's like a more dark version of Merlin. Like, you know, he has like the white hair and all that stuff. He's like in a tree, but like Merlin is like, obviously like, it's like the book is actually really funny. So it's like a dark version of like whatever is going on with Merlin and Arthur.
Well, that's interesting. I had never thought about that. I don't know. I know George R. R. Martin has said Bran will be king, but I also think George R. R. Martin's wrong about that because I don't like it. So,
I don't think it'll be king in like the same way. I think people think king and they're like, he'll be king of Westeros on like some throne. I think it'll be I think the landscape of Westeros will look very, very different than with Bran becomes king, and it won't be like the same way.
I just don't see Bran leaving the tree. I feel like he's supposed to stay in the tree, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not George and I'm not writing the books.
I think he could. Well, I think that like the final sort of like battle or war will happen like in the Riverlands, as most battles happen, because the Riverlands are just collateral damage for all wars. But I feel like
in the middle of everything.
The God's Eye is there, which is a really magical place. So I could see Bran being there. Also, Harrenhal is like really humongous, and it can hold so many people, and it can hold like basically everybody we need. And then there's Daenerys' vision where she's like fighting on the Trident, which is in close to where like Harrenhal is. Like I think a lot of the big stuff is gonna happen there. And I feel like some stuff is gonna. I really believe like Bran is also a part of the Euron versus Daenerys. Like he's gonna be like Professor X, and Daenerys is gonna be like Jean Grey, and he's gonna be like in his mind having a mind battle or some shit. I don't know. Like his third eye's gonna open. He's gonna be like fighting a mental block for Daenerys, and Daenerys is gonna be fighting on a dragon.
I honestly, at this point, I could see anything happening because we don't have the books, George.
Yeah, like
Please,
all we have are theories.
feed us, George. Feed us, please. We're so hungry. Phil, did you want to talk about? I know we talked about Euron forever, but that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about your theory?
I can talk just briefly about the fact, because I was talking about Tywin recently, and
Yes.
Tywin gets all this like love from particularly men, like in the fandom, who are like, this is what a leader is, right? Like, and I think they think they're being contrarian because he's a villain, right? In the story, he's an antagonist, but they're like, he's a picture of competence. Like, he's the one guy who gets it, right? And doesn't make all these good people who make dumb decisions and get killed, right? Like Tywin makes a bunch of good decisions and then is unlucky or whatever. And it's like my thing is that I think Tywin has been a fucking traitorous piece of shit like from day one. And every big success that he's had, like particularly in these wars that people like talk about, where he's on the winning side, like obviously he fights in the War of the Nine Penny Kings as like that was back when he was like still young. That's like, that is what it is. But he also thinks his dad is a piece of shit the whole time. Like, he embarrasses the fuck out of his dad's mistress, like, and it's just like a real piece of shit to his dad, like, or to his dad's legacy. And basically he's sort of like, I don't know, he continues to tell this story about like his dad being weak or whatever, but it was really all in the interest of redefining like what strength was for House Lannister, like, and giving himself like license to take out these other competing families that like he felt had risen too high, right? Like, but he didn't actually have any sort of like,
he always takes it too far,
right? He didn't have like the reason
things, like, you don't need to drown everybody in a mine, like,
you disrespect me. Like,
every single thing he does is because he's insecure,
right?
Every single thing, like, I'm insecure, let's murder everybody.
And then Robert's Rebellion, he like, even though he was Aerys' best friend growing up, like what they were boys from the War of the Nine Penny Kings, along with like
Steffon Baratheon
and Hoster Tully, like all the, like, they were all like hanging out, whatever. The Tullys were all chilling. So they're all like so they were friends from the war. And then obviously Tywin is a close advisor, and Tywin is mysteriously getting credit for all the shit that's going well, like in the Seven Kingdoms. And Aerys starts to feel like Tywin is making it where he's getting all the credit for all the stuff that's going good. So he tries to cut Tywin out of it, right? And then obviously they distance themselves, whatever. And then the Defiance of Duskendale, and this is my like tinfoil hat or whatever here, is that I think that Tywin and Rhaegar were in cahoots. And I don't know how much Rhaegar was actually like part of the plot in terms of the actual Defiance of Duskendale, but I do think Tywin orchestrates it. And I do think that he plans, like, the one thing that Tywin can account for is that Barristan Selmy is actually him. Like, because he tells Barristan Selmy, yeah, sure, go in there. And if you don't come out by sunrise or whatever, I'm storming the city. And whatever happens, right? And we know from Tywin's history, he's not exactly like judicious in the use of force, right? So if Aerys accidentally dies, it was actually the Darklands killed him before we could get to him. You know, and poor King, he's dead. Oh, my daughter just so happens to like is going to be betrothed to the crown prince, who is now the king, and like, oops, I accidentally, like, my daughter is now the queen, right?
He just tripped and fell. Oh no!
If only none of this had happened, right? Like, and so Aerys gets paranoid about the fact that Tywin is trying to kill him, and I think he's right. Like,
he is right, absolutely.
I think Aerys is correct. So that's it. So I'm not saying that Aerys didn't go crazy, but I'm saying that Tywin helped drive Aerys mad, right? Like Aerys
I
wasn't
agree.
inherently, he didn't just like take the throne as a psychopath. Like
It
he
takes a
had
minute
like,
to get there.
I think he had like delusions of grandeur and some of this
Yeah.
other stuff that they talk about, where he definitely like was a little bit of like I
A
don't know.
delusional person.
Yeah, like
a delusional prince. Like he was like, oh, I have big dreams and whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna build a new capital city, like all this shit, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
I want like some of the ideas are like they're not like evil ideas. He's like, oh, I want to see like plants grow in Dorne. Like that's not a bad thing to want to happen, but also like it's gonna be hard. It's a desert.
Yeah,
Like,
how much water are we using? But yeah, so I think my big thing is that Aerys gets written off as a mad king, obviously, because in the end he does go mad and is trying to do horrible stuff and dies as a result. Like, and you know, I'm not even judging sort of the actions of Jaime or anything like that, but specifically Tywin's role in Aerys' descent and his distrust of the people around him was driven by Tywin actually being untrustworthy and doing like traitorous stuff. And then in Robert's Rebellion, obviously, like he sits it out until after the Battle of the Trident, and it's clear that Robert is going to win right now that Rhaegar is dead. So that's when he joins. Like that's when he joins. He ignores Aerys' pleas to join the war, and he just said like, and Jaime even says to Brienne that like my father just decided that the Lannisters were going to be on the winning side, and then it was decided at the Trident, so he rode to King's Landing, like he joined then. And then similarly, Battle of the Blackwater, like obviously he was trapped in the Riverlands or whatever, and that's part of it. But he's always showing up. Like the only time he's winning shit is when he's showing up at the exact right moment, right? He's just been getting, he, you know, this whole like picture of Tywin's competence. He's like been getting his ass handed to him by a 14-year-old for like a year and a half or whatever.
It's definitely hurting his ego.
Yeah. And the only battle that he like significantly impacts is the Battle of the Blackwater, which he shows up late to. And like with
that was Tyrion's
Tyrell,
plan.
Right?
That
like
makes
with,
everything good.
And with Tyrell like assist, you know, so this sort of illusion that Tywin has built of his own competence, people who read the books like buy it. And they don't see that he's actually like doing all of this. He's doing all of this scheming, and it all eventually leads to his own downfall because his own arrogance about his competence is what ultimately allows Tyrion to kill him. Because because Tyrion knows that he hates his fucking guts, and like, and like even in this specific moment, this very competent guy couldn't.
Is
like,
egging on.
Yeah.
The guy with the arrow.
Is egging on his on the guy with the arrow, and is like the trial just happened. He's sleeping with the key witness. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, where he couldn't like keep it together for 2 seconds until Tyrion was actually dead, right? Like, where he's like, all of this is going on, and also I'm just gonna like rub it in everybody's face that I am better than everybody, whatever, and I'm invincible. And he gets killed by his son, who he called a piece of shit or whatever. Like, and so I just think like this sort of house of cards that Tywin has like erected. There are plenty of people in Westeros, because people will use evidence like from the books of people talking about Tywin's competence in the books. And I'm like, yes, that's all part of this image that he has constructed.
Exactly.
Like,
yes.
And it's about projecting Lannister power so that people don't challenge him, right? Like it's about scaring people and like ruling with fear and all of this stuff, and people being afraid of the fact that he will outmaneuver them. When in reality, like we don't see Tywin outmaneuver that many people outside of
outmaneuver anybody.
Dirty tricks like the Red Wedding.
The Red Wedding. He couldn't
like,
beat the 14-year-old on the battlefield. He had to beat him at a wedding.
It's a dirty trick. Like it's just it's not outmaneuvering. It's like it's
cheating.
It's
You're not outmaneuvering by murdering everybody who's in opposition. That's not outmaneuvering at all.
Yeah.
And it's doing something like unprecedented, but not in like that's genius. It's like, like you did
broke
like
and 1,000 plus year social custom that now nobody trusts your family. Congratulations. Put your clown hat on, sir. You've ruined everything.
Right. And it's like, yeah. So anyways, this whole I said I was gonna talk about it quickly. What the fuck? I would talk for like 15
It's
minutes.
No, but I agree.
fine.
Like,
We love it. Yeah, it's fine.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, well, first of all, I feel like Cersei's chapters make me think that's exactly how the Mad King was thinking when he was king. Like the idea,
Mhm.
like Cersei is absolutely paranoid and is absolutely doing way too much, but like she's also right. Like they are trying to take over. Like the Tyrells are trying to take over.
Yeah.
People are trying to get rid of her.
Yeah.
But like she's like, it's like the self-fulfilling prophecy. Like maybe it's happening because you're acting like that, but also it's
Mhm.
happening. Like I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Ares, I feel like he is I feel like he's a character that gets very like easily like simplified to well Targaryen madness and like that's it. But like if you like look at his entire life, it kind of like sucked towards the end. Like when you start
Yeah.
from like one, he's forced to marry his sister, who he like doesn't want to marry because they want him to have some prophecy baby. Then they have
Mhm.
like 100 million miscarriages. One of their babies dies like a year and a half into it, and he's like, "Oh my god, somebody poisoned the baby. What the fuck? What's going on?" Then he finally gets his son, but like in the process of it, his whole family dies in a fire. Like I'm like, that's a lot. Like
Mhm.
your grandfather died, your mom probably died because maybe Sheiro's there. All your cousins and like your uncles and your aunts, they died. And it's like
Mhm.
it's building up little by little, all these things. And then he gets taken in a dungeon for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And they probably weren't treating him well. It's like it's a build up all these terrible things. And I'm not excusing like the things he does to Rayella because like her life sucked because of him.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
you can see that it wasn't just like he wasn't born and then like he was just like crazy. Like they even say like when he was young, like a lot of people liked him and like he was a likable person, which is like to me it's like it's simplifying mental health because it's clear like he has like mental health issues. Like he
Mhm.
like is like I don't know if it's like psychosis or like he's like having delusion. Like they say in the book that like 1 minute he would be laughing, the next minute he will be crying. Like that's like serious mental illness. Like he's
Yeah,
not
like
just like
even just like bipolar, like he could have been
yeah,
bipolar,
like
which got like severely exacerbated.
exacerbated.
Like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
it makes me sad because I'm like, and then I was thinking about the relationship he would have with like Rhaegar, and it's like I think people like get caught up a lot. Like obviously, like whole the Rhaegar and Lyanna thing. They're like, "Why did you take this 15-year-old girl? What's up with you? Come on, the police are at the door." But also like, but also like the idea that like I can't imagine like what it would be like to grow up and like that's your dad and you're watching him slowly deteriorate like that over time, and then you're also watching him like be terrible to your mother, and like he immediately leaves once he has a chance. Once he's Prince of Dragonstone, like he stays on Dragonstone for like all the time. Like he only comes back and like, here, this is Rhaenys, your granddaughter. Ew, she looks Dornish. Get away from me. And then they go back. That's what happens.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like there's like a fan art of I think that Ares actually really did love Rhaegar, but like because of like his whole situation, like it just is like it's very twisted. It's like he's like a toxic mom, like in stories.
Mhm.
And like there's a fan art of there's this painting like Ivan the Terrible and his son where he's like holding his son after he killed him accidentally, and it's just like the painting but it's like Rhaegar and Ares, and it's so like it makes me cry every time I see it because I'm like he hates Rhaegar and he's like, oh, he's trying to betray me, which is like true, he is trying to betray you, he is trying to usurp you because you're kind of crazy. But like when Brandon comes over and he's like, Rhaegar, come in and die, he's like, whoa, hold up, don't you know only I'm allowed to be a piece of shit to my child? Kill him right now.
Yeah.
And it's just their toxic relationship. I ended up sidetracking, but like Tywin, he's stupid. He's not a genius, and he's very similar to Cersei. And people like to be like, Cersei's so stupid. Tywin is just as stupid. I don't know if it was you who said this, Phil, or like somebody else, but like what Cersei tries to do with like the trial with Marjorie is literally what like Tywin does with Tyrion, but it works out better for Tywin. But like that's essentially the same thing. She's just copying him. Like she wants to do a trial and frame somebody for something they didn't do, which I fully believe Tywin knew like he didn't do that shit. But like I want to get rid of him. I don't like him. And like, oh man, like the things he says to him, what he says to Tyrion when he says like, because I have it here, it says, "You are an ill-made, devious, disobedient, spiteful little creature full of envy, lust, and low cunning." He's just talking about himself. That's literally just him saying it. Like that's like you're looking in the mirror and you don't like what you see. I don't know, maybe be a better dad. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Oh, I love all this Tywin stuff. So just a few points. So Tywin, Tyrion, and Cersei, all very similar characters.
Yes.
And then poor Jamie is just like a lovely boy. he didn't get any of this like weird like
part of it is because like
overconfidence.
he like part of it is that because Jamie is like a man and he's able-bodied, he's kind of like just like set, like he doesn't have to, he's not a woman like Cersei and he's not a dwarf like Tyrion, so like he's never gonna get shit from Tywin on either of those ends. So he's like, not to cut you off, keep going.
I know, absolutely. That's absolutely a great point. And he had this like formative experience of like having to kill the king, and then he has like this horrible reputation, etc. So he kind of had like a different road to it. But yeah, I really like the idea of like, you know, looking at Tywin for what he really is. Phil, you were mentioning his downfall. So part of his downfall being his mistreatment of Tyrion, but part of his downfall also being his mistreatment of Jamie, because Jamie set Tyrion free.
Yeah.
So the whole Tysha thing happened because of Tywin Lannister. And that causes a serious rift between those two brothers. And that it wasn't Jamie's fault that happened. It was all set up by Tywin. And he never thought, like Tywin never thought that was a bad thing to do that would come back to haunt him, but it did.
Yeah.
It came back very directly and very harshly when he was shot. So that's
a great point.
Like his mistreatment of his children and his overconfidence in his own actions and like not really thinking about other people as people is absolutely what led to his downfall. I do also want to highlight that he's described in the book as having mutton chops. So just I don't know how anyone takes him seriously when he's Captain Mutton Chops. He's bald and has mutton chops. Captain Mutton Chops is not the smartest man in the room.
His insecurity is so interesting to me because they say like once he recognized that he was balding, he just shaved his head because like he's probably like he doesn't want to end up being made fun of like Stannis for like having like the hairline going back, but also like it's very interesting to me the different perspectives you get because you get this with Jenna Lannister where like she's talking to Jamie and she's talking about how like she loves like even though Tywin is like a piece of shit, like she still loves him because he was the only one to stand up for her when her dad was like marrying her off to some like loser Frey. And she's like, he's like a piece of shit, but like every little girl needs an older brother. And it's very interesting to think of Tywin as like a protective older brother. And like she says that like when he held Jamie and Cersei for the first time, he like smiled, which is like Tywin smiling. It's just very, and like the whole thing is like he hates being laughed at. And then you see it in Dance with Dragons where Tyrion is like he cannot stand to be like laughed at because it's like there's like such an insecurity. Also, he gets so much shit. There's a YouTuber called Crusader Chris. He has great videos. He gets so much. Lord Frey gets so much shit for staying out of the war to the very end, but Tywin does the same exact fucking thing, and nobody says anything about him. Just like
they got that PR over at that Lannister household. They got that PR, yeah.
Even Mace Tyrell does the same exact thing, and he always gets shit about the siege of Storm's End during Robert's Rebellion that lasted fucking like however the entire war, where he was just camped outside, didn't do shit.
He was just chilling. We
Yeah,
have food with the reach.
Yeah. Where I started to realize like, was anybody fighting in fucking Robert's Rebellion? It was literally like it was literally just like Ned and Bobby.
Yeah, just doing stuff.
Just duking it out like with John Aaron, and then everybody else was like, I guess like maybe we'll show up. Like but no, I really think there's something about the Tywin Lannister propaganda. And obviously, you know, I think like the Charles Dance, it always gets said, but like Charles Dance, his portrayal of Tywin like puts him in a different light. Plus, like I would say D&D looked for every fucking opportunity to make Tywin more human and less of a like, and like the interactions with Arya humanize him, like all of this shit where it's like there were a lot, they took every single opportunity to try to make him look better than he was. And I'm not saying that some of those scenes are not cool, like out of context, right? Like I think there are some that are cool, and it does absolutely contribute to the fact that people walk away from the series thinking that Tywin is like this awesome, competent, like deep thinker who's a strategic mastermind and then can't explain why the fuck he was getting his ass kicked by like a
15-year-old Rob.
15-year-old Rob accompanied by, you know, fucking great John Umber as like his great strategic mastermind.
And his dog.
Like
a boy and his dog were beating Tywin Lannister.
And then there are people who are so quick who are like, well, it was really Brynden Blackfish, like who was Rob's strategic mastermind. I'm like, okay, fine. So he's getting beat by
still
Brendan
sucks.
Blackfish. Like,
Right. What?
like, yeah. We're saying
What's
that
worse?
Blackfish is like the greatest military mind in Westeros. Like, come on.
It's just so like it's
Hop
weird
off
that
it.
people like hype him up when like, to me the two greatest masterminds are Littlefinger and Varys. Like it's not even and he does not compete with them at all. Like Littlefinger literally is the reason everything is happening technically, because he's like, Lysa, poison your husband. We need to get this shit kicking.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Varys,
it's why
obviously,
they're both in the story. Like,
yeah,
like the people who are in the story the least, but are talked about the most. Those are the people who are doing the most, right? Like,
yeah,
like they're directing stuff, and like he can't put Littlefinger and Varys in the series that much because
otherwise
it gives
everything's
up the game.
revealed.
It gives up the game. Like there's no
right,
like
exactly.
you see too much when it's
Right.
when it's so like no, you're totally right that like the
Varys,
masterminds are the ones we don't get to see inside, right?
Varys is also hilarious to me only because he's like, I want someone to rule the realm who will stabilize it and make it great. So I'm going to kill the guy who is stabilizing the realm to put my guy who's going to stabilize the realm. But also, this is not going to work out because you cannot manufacture a perfect king. You either got it or you don't. I don't know. Or like leadership in general. Like you can't manufacture somebody who's good at leading.
Have you heard the Varys Blackfire theory?
Yes, I fully believe he's like maybe a Blackfire or like because why else would he be doing this? Like what reason does he have to be so close to like Illyrio? Like what's the deal?
Also, the name Varys is just like phonetically, it could be a Targaryen name.
Like you just put an E.
Very close.
You put an E right next to the A. Varys. Oh my god. He's gonna open up a page and like they're gonna read like a bunch of names and they're like, oh, Varys, and like it cuts to him. Like, oh my god, they revealed.
he like he lets his hair go a couple of now
he takes out his contacts.
That's why he shaves his head, because it would be blonde. Do you get it? Do you get it? I believe in that one. I like that one.
Egg is actually the foreshadowing of Varys being a Blackfire. Like,
see, just
he takes off his contacts.
Yeah,
he's like, actually, my eyes are purple.
Purple.
He created color context specifically for this reason.
He did, or he got them from the merfolk. I don't know.
Right. Varys is another Lord of the Rings parallel with Grima Wormtongue of Aerys II, where it's like Varys showed up and then Aerys really started to go nuts.
I sent you that TikTok where it's like the evil advisor whispering in there, he wants to take your throne. He wants to like
when your friend has that friend who acts like the evil advisor to the king or whatever.
Get on 2K right now.
Yeah. Are we going out tonight? Like, he doesn't want to go out.
He doesn't want to
lure you. He wants to lure you.
And then, like in the comments, it was that guy. What's his face from Lord of the Rings, where he's like whispering in the king's ear.
Yeah, Grima.
He's like
Wormtongue.
Like, oh my god, that is. Oh man, this story. God.
Oh man. Oh wow, we are going long.
Well, so I actually, and this is more of an editor's note to myself, but I was thinking like this, we actually can make this 2 episodes, which is kind of awesome because it means that we can spread
we
out
a lot of
the
good
content.
stuff. Yeah,
so
good.
That's what I think. Like we can really do like a first half of the siblings and Nettles, and then do just a theories episode, and like.
Well, can I tell you about my theory?
Absolutely.
Yes,
that's exactly what I was thinking.
So I apologize, Phil, because you've heard me ramble about this before, and I've mentioned it throughout this podcast and also in a lot more detail on my podcast, House of Fire and Blood. If anybody's interested in this kind of theory work, me and Gretchen do this a lot over there. But basically, my submission to the council is that dragons are not in fact magic. Dragons are creatures in the world. They're obviously mythical. They don't exist in our world, but that it does not in fact require any magic to tame, train, or ride a dragon at all. And we've talked a lot about blood purity already, so I'll try not to repeat some of the things. Like Nettles is a big example of this, of being like someone who pretty apparently on page is in fact not a Targaryen, doesn't have quote unquote magic blood, and does successfully train a dragon, and she does it through regular animal husbandry. She feeds Sheep Stealer until Sheep Stealer is like, you're cool. And then Sheep Stealer is cool with being ridden by her, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to prove a negative to say like dragons aren't magic and you don't need special blood to ride them. So the way I like to think about it is more in the positive. Though if you're trying to prove dragons are magic and you do need special blood to ride them, what are we looking at? So the overarching issue is that if the reader believes that you need to be a Targaryen to ride a dragon, then the reader must also accept that blood purity is true, and that it is a good thing to marry your sister. And I just don't think that's the point of George R.R. Martin's story.
Yeah.
I don't think he's trying to tell us the story that blood purity is real. And for a lot of the reasons we already talked about, like the Targaryens being intermarried with the Valerians and then being intermarried with other people. So it's like, even if it was like, you have to be Targaryen, how much are we talking? Because even by the time we get down to Daenerys, she's like,
she's barely Valyrian, actually, if you think about her blood. Like, she's very, very, I was like looking it up and I'm like, she's not Valyrian that much at all. What the heck?
Exactly. So it just becomes this like weird, like, what percentage do you need to be like, for the dragon to like sniff you and be like, yes, magic blood. I got you. But you can ride me.
It's also true because like there are Targaryens who like don't have dragons. Like they're not able to claim them. Like it really does that. You don't have to have like, maybe the dragon just doesn't fuck with you. I don't know. Like it's up to like, the dragon to be like, no thanks, you kind of suck. This is why I think I made a joke about how like Viserys claiming Balerion is what killed him. Because he was like, because all his riders, like the show does like how Daynes is like his rider, which I can believe that she was his rider because he came over already, like born already. Yeah. And then Araya, maybe he had like, I don't know, dragon dementia, and he's like, oh, you look like that's Daynes, and he's like, let's go home. Okay, let's go back to Valyria. And then he was claimed by the cringe Viserys, and then he died from cringe after flying one time. And he's like, oh my god. Like, oh my god,
what's happening? He said, I'm good.
He's like, I was like, oh my god, you killed me with your cringe. Like, can you imagine? Like, he like recognized, his eyes open. He was like, wait, you're a dude. Get off of me. You're not Aegon.
I like that theory. He said, I'm good.
And I do think that like, and this is something that in terms of the way that we talk about the story and everything, the thing that becomes like harder to think about is like Dany's role, because Dany is special.
Yeah.
Right. Like she does something that is impossible, basically. Like she hatches these 3 dragon eggs, which it is. I mean, I think George has even said it's a miracle. Like it is not like, it is not something that, she like did
a random person to do.
Yeah. Or like if you follow these steps and have, 2 dead bodies and like a funeral pyre and put the eggs in these specific spots, like that, it wasn't like a ritual that hatches eggs, right? It just like, it just fucking happened, like as part of that. And she pulled off like something. So that's the thing that I've been like trying to like find the right way to articulate.
Yeah.
In that, like, I think you can still believe that Daenerys is like
special, but
special in that way of like, and you can say it's the like Azor Ahai, you could say it's the Prince of was Promised, like however you want to describe it. But like, I think you can still believe that Daenerys is sort of this like the hero that is needed for this crisis or whatever, right? Like, and she is the one who is meant to match this moment without while still believing that it's not because of she was born with the right mixture of genetic material, right? Like, it's because it was like, it's written in the stars,
special because of like her personal qualities that like she has specific to her. Because like my thing is with like young Griff, I think he's like a Blackfire, but Blackfires are like, they're literally Targaryens. Like it's the same thing, they just have a different name. I don't think he's gonna be able to claim a dragon, and it's not because like he doesn't have the right kind of blood. I just think he's like, I don't think he's that guy. But I think that Jon
Quentin has the Targaryen blood, and it doesn't go well for him,
And
but I also think that
Tyrion even says that that young Griff is like reminds him of Joffrey, which I'm just like
Yeah.
that to me is like the kiss of death, right? Like
Yeah.
where it's just like, well,
Yikes, you're finished.
yeah.
Well, I do believe there is magic in the world of Westeros.
Yeah.
I'm not like a full like there is no magic. I think there's a lot less magic than the characters think. And it's hard to kind of get at that because we're always in the characters' heads. No matter what text we're reading, it's from somebody's point of view. So it's sort of like peeling that back and trying to figure out what actual magic is there. So like Daenerys and the dragon eggs, what like was an actual miracle. She survived a funeral pyre, right? Like, but there is magic in the universe. Is that about Daenerys being special, or was that just a magical event that occurred? I don't know. I don't have a lot of other evidence that Daenerys is that special. She rides a dragon, but so did like a lot of people before her. So did like Nettles.
Right.
So
she's like special because of how she reacts to these different moments. Like not special because of specifically like exactly. Like she's not inherently special. She is special because of like the things that she learns and the way she
her life
Mm-hmm.
and how it forms her. That's why like the whole young Griff and Daenerys thing as foils work, because their lives are so similar, but like they're very different people. And I was thinking about this with one of my friends made a tweet where it was like a quote from Maester Aemon and a quote from Daenerys, and like basically how they feel about like being sort of like the last Targaryens in their own mind. Like when Maester Aemon hears about Daenerys, he's like, oh my God, I have to go to her. Like she can't be alone. And also like him talking to Jon before he even knows Daenerys exists, where he's like, he was suffering when he had to hear about the fact that like his family's like wiped out now. And then with Daenerys, a lot of her, literally all of her chapters in like, all her chapters in general, but like really in Dance, she's like really, really lonely about being the last Targaryen. She's lonely about not having family or anything like that. Whereas with young Griff, I feel like there's not this sense of like yearning for family in the way that Maester Aemon and Daenerys have. Like if he's really a Targaryen, I think he believes he's a Targaryen.
Yeah, he definitely believes it. Yeah.
But like his family was like his actual, like his sister was murdered, his mother was murdered, his father was killed. Obviously he died in battle, so I don't think that counts. But like still, he doesn't like when he folds so easily to Tyrion's manipulations about like, and Tyrion plays into like the toxic masculinity to get him to get away from Daenerys. He's like, oh, are you going to listen to like a woman's whim? Are you going to go to her like a beggar? Like basically playing into like, you're the guy. Like, why are you doing that for her? Which is like crazy. Like, why are you abandoning the person with the 3 dragons? That's kind of dumb. Yeah. But like he feeds into that and then he listens to it and he's like, oh, you don't need like, I'm Rhaegar's son. She's just Rhaegar's sister. Like, I'm the only dragon you need. By the way, the only other Targaryen who says I'm the only dragon you need is Daeron the first, and he died. So he died in a battle. Maybe don't say that. Maybe take a step back. But also, like, it's weird to me that like maybe we'll get it in Winds because obviously there's still time to have stuff with young Griff because Jon Connington and then I think Arianne will talk to him and stuff. But we have like nothing that shows that like he is also yearning for family. Like I think Tyrion's right when he's like, when Daenerys hears about young Griff, she's gonna want to go to him and be like, oh my God, I have a family member. But young Griff doesn't seem to have the same sense of urgency. Like if I find out that I had one last living family member, I would be like, I'm going to them no matter what. Like if it's the last thing I do. Whereas he's like, we don't really need her, which is crazy that like no one's like, maybe we do need the person who has 3 dragons and also adds legitimacy to your claim because nobody thinks you're actually a Targaryen yet, really, to be honest.
And like who you could marry because we marry our sisters here. So
like it's
what
very,
are we doing? Yeah,
it's very weird. That's why I'm like it's part of why I don't really agree with the whole like Dany versus young Griff theory because I think it requires you to like use the show where Daenerys gets really upset that Jon is a Targaryen. And it's like, but in the books, every time she thinks about being the last Targaryen, she's like, this fucking sucks. Like, there's a line where she's like, House Targaryen will end with me. That makes me really fucking sad. Yeah. And like, she's like yearning for the house with the red door, really, really wanting family. Because that's really what it symbolizes, just a home and family. Yeah. And like I think it's weird to me that Tyrion like understands Daenerys' character better than like a lot of the fandom and like he's never even met her. Like he's immediately like, oh, but above all else, she's a rescuer. When she hears about you, she's gonna want to go to you. I think the tragedy is that she's gonna go to him and then like he's like kind of already dead. Because like I don't think the plot is gonna wait for Daenerys to come to Westeros for it to keep moving in Westeros. Like Jon Connington, the Greyscale ain't gonna wait. Cersei's not gonna wait for whatever shenanigans she's gonna do. Euron's not gonna wait. Like things are moving, and honestly, I think George says that like Daenerys and Tyrion don't meet until like way later in the Book of Winds, and I'm like, so that means they're still in Essos, because like I don't think she's gonna get to like Westeros to like. I think by the end of Win, she's gonna be like, all right, I'm on a ship to Westeros, which is like fine. 'Cause I think she'll be like in Pentos or Bravos by that point, which is like close enough. But
yeah, and I imagine they have to meet in Essos to come back to Westeros together.
Yeah, like otherwise, like what they're gonna meet in like King's Land, like, oh hey, what's up?
That'd be so weird if he goes all the way to Essos, just come back by himself to meet her at King's Landing. That would be very strange.
Their meeting has to be like a big deal. Would you like to work for me? What? By the way, also, like, not like me saying this, but like Tyrion's gonna be like, oh, by the way, also you saved me, but you didn't even know who I was, because like she's the one who stops the whole like thing,
the fighting
the lions trying to like attack. That I could go into a whole rant about like Marine and like the whole people being like peace versus war, and I'm like, I don't think it's that. I think it's peace. I think it's war versus slavery. Like there's like people talk about the Myronese Blat, and I low-key really hate that essay very, very much, just because it's like it feels a lot like slavery apologia, and also like it makes references to the Middle East that I don't think apply for a couple of reasons. But like the idea that one of the part of the essay is that like Dario represents war and then Hizdar represents peace, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Hizdar's a guy who's like, yeah, I can't wait to see these two innocent dwarves get taken out by a lion. Like that's not peaceful at all. He's also like the first one to be like, kill that fucking dragon when it comes in, like and also like when you read all the other chapters, like Tyrion chapter specifically, because Tyrion
kill
chapters
my wife's like, dragons specifically.
Kill my wife's dragons, please.
Like,
yeah,
but like all the other slave states or cities are like, we need to go to Marine and take out Daenerys because one free slave state is like not allowed. Like she is too much of a symbol that she cannot exist. And people are like, oh well, she shouldn't. And people are like, oh well, the peace of Marine was real. I'm like, is it? Because like she's literally about to be fucking attacked from all sides by literally every single slave state. Luckily though, Daenerys is going to show up with like 50,000
Dothraki screamers
on a dragon, which I think is going to be epic, because they're going to be like, what the fuck? I'm going to be like, yes. Also, Daenerys needs to get armor immediately.
She does it. Do you know Rhaenyra in the book? Rhaenyra wears armor when she goes to King's Landing. I'm wondering if they're going to do that in the show.
I hope they do that. I hope they give her. No, doesn't Emma Darcy say that like they got their wish of like wanting like a sword or something?
They got to hold a sword last season for like a scene. I don't know if they're gonna get like a whole like dragon. Anyway, yes, Daenerys needs armor, and no, she's not gonna have to burn down the Dosh Khaleen to get the fucking Khalasar.
It's weird. Like, it's just I don't know. Marine. I have so many thoughts about Marine. I won't get into it, but like it's.
We should do another podcast episode about Marine because I think I have the same thoughts about Marine that you have.
War versus peace. Like it's peaceful that people are being sold literally right outside the city and they're selling themselves back into slavery. I don't know.
What's the deal that Tyrion makes in the show? Like you could have slavery for 7 more years and that's it. And isn't freedom taste the same as slavery?
It's so weird. I think like people take in George's like anti-war message, and he does have an anti-war message, but it's like, I think if the war you're fighting is to free slaves, I think it's okay to fight. Like I think people ignore that. Like it's like people ignore all the freedmen who are like, wow, I'm so happy that Daenerys is like freeing slaves. Oh my god, like that's like a whole Tyrion chapter where some guy is like, they see this breaker of chains. And like these slaves, like they make our food, they teach our children, and they're sharpening their knives, and they're hearing about this lady. We gotta get her the fuck out of here now. And she's like, and people are just like, yeah. And she chose fire and blood at the end. That means she's gonna go crazy. And it's like maybe she's gonna blow up people who have people as property. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be fun. I don't know.
Remember when D&D called Tyrion the Abe Lincoln of his time?
Wait, they did. Wait.
Oh yes. Did you not know that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Must have forcibly ejected that memory from
came for the slavers. It's just like, yes, to use that speech is crazy. The first they came for a speech with slavers, like to give what's his face, to give Hizdar like a fake freedom fighter dad that does not exist in the books. Which, by the way, it makes no sense in the show either, because like your dad was against slavery, but you're still super rich, and the only way to make income in Slavers Bay is to have slaves.
Right? Did they not have? Did House Zolorak or whatever it was not have slaves? Like
they just want to feel so bad. Like it's just weird. Like they were like, violence in Westeros that's chill, that's cool. Arya wiping out an entire house, that's fucking dope. Daenerys crucifying slavers who crucified children, not cool.
Hashtag not all slavers, okay?
Right.
Literally.
Like, you know,
Not all
that
slavers are bad. What about
Yeah.
people make this argument and like and they're like being genuine, like, well, what if they were like, she didn't hold a trial, so how do you know there weren't good slavers? And I'm like, did you just hear what you just said? Like,
people will die in the comments on like standing on the weirdest business.
like,
they'll be like, what about the slavers? What about but blood purity is real? And I'm
what
like,
about their culture of slavery? And it's like, that's bad. Okay, if your culture
Yeah.
is that like you eat babies, we should probably get rid of that culture. I don't know what to tell you.
You know what's a bad culture? Marrying your sister. We should get rid of that
Exactly.
culture. It's a bad culture. Don't do that. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
It is really crazy that that people will simultaneously hold like the belief that Myronese or Slavers Bay culture around slaves is like valid or whatever, and say that the Daenerys plotline in Marine is boring and is not like the main story, and Daenerys needs to get back to Westerosi politics, which actually matter, which is like a straight up like Orientalist like
Yes. It's
approach
like,
to the series.
like get rid of these. We don't care about any of these brown people being slaves. Bring us back to the white nation right now.
Yes.
Where they're like,
People
the
said.
only people I will fight for in Marine are the ones who were nobly honoring the tradition of owning
also,
people.
They just ignore the fact that like people talk like the Myronese slave owners are the only Myronese people. What about the Myronese who are slaves? Like, do you think maybe they don't want to be slaves anymore? There's a guy who's like, oh, you're King Hizdar. He's like, Hizdar is not my fucking king. Where the fuck is Daenerys? It's just very weird. I'm like, also the way people talk about Daenerys coming over is very like racist. It's very weird how like the Targaryens, they kind of, somebody on Tumblr made a thread about this, or like an analyst about this, where like the Targaryens, they kind of suffer from like an Orientalism in a way because they're othered. Like obviously they use it to their advantage to an extent. They're like, oh, we're above gods and men and whatever. But then also when they do good things or like perceived good things, they're like, oh, they're above gods and men, they're so amazing. And then when they do bad things, oh, these foreign SOC people and the women are hypersexualized and like they bathe in blood and they eat babies. Like what they say about Daenerys in Marine, they're like, she bathes in blood and has sex with horses and like what? Like, that's how she keeps her youth. Mind you, her youth is because she's like 15. Like, what are we talking about? She's 15,
so she's actually youthful, yeah.
But like, they're like, Daenerys is gonna come over with her rapist Dothraki army and her foreign savages, and like she's a foreigner. But I find funny is that they don't use his argument for young Griff because he's also a foreigner and also has a foreign army, but they don't say that about him. Also, like, it feels like she's held to a weird standard because she's a woman. Because like, yes, the Dothraki do rape and pillage, but I also think that Daenerys is the kind of leader who's like, no, you're not going to do that anymore because like that's what she does. But also like
she literally did that before in the
story. Yeah. But also like it's like it's weird that like, okay, let's say that Dothraki come over and they do raping and pillaging. Bad, obviously. She's held to like, oh well, all the bad things that Dothraki do are on her. Of course, she's the leader. But like the War of the Five Kings, Robb does not get held to that standard because the Northmen are also. The Northmen are raping women and pillaging towns, and no one's like, that's on Robb. Robb should be doing better. And it's like, no, like the Robb is just like my mutual Holly like talked about this, how like Northern independence is kind of like, it's kind of like not silly, like they're obviously rebelling for a good reason because like their liege lord was unjustly murdered, but like in Daenerys' vision in the House of the Undying, the four little gremlin things raping the woman that is Westeros, that includes Robb. Like he's one of the five kings. Like it's four of them because Renly died already. But like he's one of the people raping the land of Westeros over this war. Like I don't like, it's war is bad, guys. And it's like
war is bad.
The only like really just war besides like obviously they're gonna have to fight against the war or like the Dawn and like not have civilization be wiped out. But like the only really like just war is Daenerys's, because like slavery is wrong objectively. And also they're like, oh, they're gonna see Daenerys and see that she killed a bunch of slavers and hate her. Mind you, slavery in Westeros is illegal. So like, why would they hate her for that? Like the punishment for that is death, because Jorah literally ran away from Ned because he was gonna kill him because he was trying to sell slaves. Whatever. It's just a lot of double standards with women. It goes with Catelyn and Sansa and everybody else. It's like, I can't. You're too many double standards. You're holding them to modern standards. I had enough.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I 110% back all of that. Yes.
Mm.
Copy paste. Absolutely. But gosh, you made so many good points and I wanted to follow up. But now I've forgotten. But it's okay because you summarized everything really well, which is fantastic. We should talk about doing an episode about Marine because I would love that.
Yeah.
I would really, yeah.
I
think
love
it's
Marine so much. And I'm reading it with my friend who's never read it for the first time. And he's like, people don't like Marine. This is like the best of
I love
Daenerys
it.
chapters.
I love
like
Dance.
like seeing her like actually deal with being a leader is like, it's really interesting to see. Like she's stuck in such like a rock and a hard place. Like she doesn't want anybody to die, but like you kind of have to deal with the fact that people will die. I don't know if you guys have like watched or read One Piece, but like
I have not, but I have so many. My boyfriend's obsessed with it. He has a tattoo of it on his shoulder, on his chest, and my brother and his wife are obsessed. So I've been told a lot.
Amazing.
Not necessarily sort of against my will about One Piece. I've been told
everybody read One Piece, but there's this but in One Piece there's this character named Vivi, and like she's kind of from like she's from a place called Alabasta, which is like the in-universe version of like Egypt, kind of is inspired by that, which makes me think of like Daenerys. There's a moment where like there's like a war happening, and she's the princess of Alabasta, and she doesn't want the war to happen, and she doesn't want anybody to fight because she doesn't want anybody to die, and she really cares about her country and her people. And the guy, Luffy, the main character, is like, he like after a while he like gets frustrated, and he's like, he stops, he says, I'm not gonna go with you to fight in Alabasta anymore. And she's like, what? Why? And he's like, you're not willing to fight, like you want to do this war without anybody dying, and like that doesn't make any sense. And she's like, well, what's wrong with not wanting the people to die? And he's like, people die, like that's what happens in war. You either need to fight, and like you have to fight for something to want to live, even if you die in like the process. And then there's a whole fight, and like they like get in the fight, and then she realizes, okay, we have to fight. And like to me, she's very much like that character where like it's like she really doesn't want anybody to be harmed, but like I think that's what the whole like last chapter where like she forgets like Hosea's name. I think people see that as like her not caring about innocent life anymore, which is like fucking crazy to me. But I see it as like she's recognizing that like even in this false peace that exists in Marine, this innocent died. Yeah. So like even when you were trying your hardest to make sure nobody innocent died, this child still died by your dragon. And also maybe that wouldn't have happened if you like really like didn't like push your dragons aside, because she's also pushing herself aside by pushing her dragons aside. Right. But like she has to come to the realization like, yeah, people are gonna die, but also like they're dying anyway. You kind of need to fight. People are like dying of everything. You need to like stand up and fight. Stop being a centrist, Daenerys. That's what she's being, actually. Yes. That's literally what it is. She's being a centrist, and it's like you can't do that. You have to pick a side.
I wonder, because like the way you're talking about it, I'm wondering if it's like if this all kind of comes back to this like Targaryen exceptionalism. That part of it is that she's young and has some naive views of the world. Yeah, like she thinks she can save the world, right? Most teenagers think that, and she goes in and ends up making a big mess, and she can't do it the way she thought. But I think maybe part of that too is that she thinks she's the one who can save the world because she's the last Targaryen. She has the dragon. She's so special, right? And kind of coming up like really hard against the fact that no, you can't do these things, and no, in fact, you aren't that special. Yeah, like and you can't like. She thinks that maybe like I think she just put a lot of pressure on herself, because like she like says a lot of times like people will like try to give her slack, like, oh no, you couldn't have known this stuff that would happen, and she's like, no, I should have known. I'm the queen, like it's my job to know these things. And I think part of it is that like she feels like she should be perfect in the way that like Targaryens are supposed to be perfect, and like I should be able to have the answers. But also like she's also terrified of like being her brother and father. Like in the back of her mind. That's why I don't understand when people say like Daenerys doesn't know her dad is crazy yet. And I'm like, I think she knows. Like that's part of the reason why she's like, am I mad? Do I have the taint too? Like I don't want to be like she I don't know why. Of course she would think that her dad is crazy. Like her brother was literally crazy. Like it's not hard for her to believe that type of stuff. I think she's very also worried must about know not about having how image, like sorry you delayed. Like she's like continue. Oh yeah, like she's trying really hard not to be like the flip the coin stereotype, and like in doing that she kind of just like sitting in the middle instead of not doing anything, which I understand, because like you don't want to, like I would be terrified if I found out like, oh, by the way, you have a history of like craziness in your family,
and like wanting to burn people and all that stuff. And like I want to be averse to that, but in doing that, she ends up like she goes too far. Like yeah,
and no, she's like she's like I have this craziness in my family, but also like the reason I live in exile now is because of that. Is because my father was toppled from power because of his behavior. And people know that about me and my family. And if I'm that way, I too will be toppled from power. Like I will also lose everything I have. Like absolutely. I think that threat is like constantly present. She thinks about it like explicitly all the time. I just want to let you guys know I have to go in about 10 minutes. I'm so sorry because I do have to go to bed.
No, we can probably wrap up. Sorry, I would say. No, the last thing I was thinking on Daenerys is just that she's, along with Viserys, her brother, they are the first generation of Targaryens in however many in 300 plus years that have had to confront the fact that they are fallible and could be defeated, right? Like because ever since Aegon, they basically had this air of invincibility around them, despite the fact that there's plenty of stories throughout Fire and Blood of their fallibility, right? Like there's all of these stories, but they never truly fell from power until the rebellion. And then so Daenerys is basically the first Targaryen who's ever had to grapple with the fact that I'm in power and it's not promised to me, right? Like it's not something that I just inherently get by my name being Targaryen. I have to earn it, and I have to like every day I got to show up and be the leader that like they need and all of that stuff, which I think ultimately will serve like to her ultimately like being able to be the person who ends the existential threat and all of that stuff, like being but she's like she's learning these lessons of like of this sort of like humility because no Targaryen since Aegon has even had to think about the fact that I could lose power.
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought of that.
She's a very stateless person. Like in Essos, they see her as Westerosi, but she's lived in Essos her whole life, and like she speaks with a Tyroshi accent. But then when she goes to like Westeros, they'll probably see her as Essosi and not really culturally Westerosi. So like she's very much like, I don't know, it's like being born in one country and then you move somewhere else and then you come back to the country you're born to. You're like she's like a foreigner all the time, no matter where she is. Like she's never home, which is part of her themes. Like she's never home at all. Yeah.
Always searching for the house with the red door. One of my favorite images.
Which I believe is in Bravos. It's in Bravos.
The Sea Lord's Palace?
It's real. Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Where was the other theories? It's like in Dorne, right? That she was in.
Yeah, because lemon trees are in Dorne. There's no lemon trees in Bravos, except for in wealthy people's gardens, which is
right.
Except for the one place there is, which is the Sea Lord of Bravos' manse. Yep.
Well, I just wanted to say, like, Feli, it has been an absolute pleasure. The time has flown by. Getting to talk about this stuff, and like, I think we covered a lot more ground than even I was expecting. Like, just because it was very.
The notes I made were what, half a page?
We got to yapping, and it got
But it was, I think, like all of it, just just appreciate you sharing your insights and everything, and I'm glad that we got to chat as a group. But do you want to remind people where they can find you and your stuff before you let them go?
Yes, you can find me on TikTok and Twitter at Belladonnafeli, and then on Tumblr you can have me on Hermosa Vida GG, which just look up beautiful life in Spanish. That's what Hermosa Vida means.
Excellent. Phil, where can people find you besides here on YouTube?
Yeah, I am. I don't know. Am I still at Damon Blackfire? I don't remember. I'm on TikTok. I think I'm at Damon Blackfire. I've been contemplating changing to at Baki Balboa for a little bit, but anyways, I'm Baki Balboa on YouTube. I think we're starting. I'm starting to think up more stuff for that, but the thing I can
David
say.
Blackfire.
Oh, was that me that I was?
No, it was Constantine James. It was somebody else.
Yeah. Okay. a shout out to Constantine as well. I would say there's been a couple of people that we've talked about that I have actually talked about coming on this podcast as well. So stay tuned for more guests.
More friends.
And I think so go there. I'm doing a bunch of random stuff now that people apparently are liking. So and mostly the stuff that I've enjoyed has been just reading stuff from the books and doing my stupid voices and my fake audiobooks. So anyways, that's about it in A Song of Ice and Fireland right now. But Belok, where can they find you?
Primarily TikTok at Belok, nice and easy. I'm also on Blue Sky Belok, nice and easy there. The project I'm mostly working on now is I'm writing a zombie science fiction story, which I've been posting to Substack, and I post updates on Blue Sky. So if you guys want to find it, that's the best way to get there. It's called Cataclysm, and I'm having a jolly good time writing it. So it's been fun. There's been themes.
It's a fun read too.
Oh my gosh, have you been following it? Thank you.
I have.
Everybody who reads it, I'm like, thank you so much.
I get it in my email.
See, this is why you got to sign up for Substack. It's nice and easy. It just emails it to you.
Yep.
Did you get the art in the email too? Because my artist has been doing the stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
He's
very
great.
Cool.
And you guys can support a real artist and not an AI artist. A real artist who is my friend, who I do pay for making that art. So.
Paying a human to do art.
I pay a human to do art.
It's an old-fashioned concept. Well, if you guys have enjoyed, please do all of the things that help boost us on the algorithm and all that stuff. But like and subscribe, and we'll be chatting to you soon. This is a two-parter, so you're either seeing this is either the end of part 1 or part 2. It'll probably be at the end of both. And we'll be back pretty soon with some other stuff, and we'll be getting ready to start the Sworn Sword for our read along again. So very much looking forward to that. So
and if anybody wants to contact us, if you want to come on the show, now you see it's safe. We're friendly.
It's safe.
I hope you had a good time. We
did.
had a great time having you. You got to come back. You definitely got to come back.
Absolutely
for
will.
Future episodes.
People with brains to talk about A Song of Ice and Fire with. Oh my God, how rare.
Oh my God, you said I have a brain. I'm so. Oh, thank you. That is a great compliment coming from you. Thank you very much. Everybody else who's watching, if you're interested in coming on, if you're interested in fighting us on here too, I mean, I love a good debate. That's fine. We don't have to agree on everything. You could just comment or reach out to us, and we could certainly set that up. A cool 3 hours into this podcast, I think we're done.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.